The heart has its reasons which reason knows not. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. I have only made this letter longer because I have not had the time to make it shorter. Men never do evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious conviction. I would prefer an intelligent hell to a stupid paradise. People almost invariably arrive at their beliefs not on the basis of proof, but on the basis of what they find attractive. Kind words don't cost much, yet they accomplish much. To make light of philosophy is to be a true philosopher. Curiosity is only vanity. We usually only want to know something so that we can talk about it. You always admire what you really don't understand. The heart has its reasons which reason knows nothing of. We know the truth not only by the reason, but by the heart. I made this very long because I did not have the leisure to make it shorter. Truth is so obscure in these times, and falsehood so established, that, unless we love the truth, we cannot know it. I lay it down as a fact that if all men knew what others say of them, there would not be 4 friends in the world. When one does not love too much, one does not love enough. The last thing one discovers in composing a work is what to put first. We are generally the better persuaded by the reasons we discover ourselves than by those given to us by others. It is man's natural sickness to believe that he possesses the truth. Dull minds are never either intuitive or mathematical. Do you wish people to think well of you? Don't speak well of yourself. Man's sensitivity to the little things and insensitivity to the greatest are the signs of a strange disorder. To ridicule philosophy is really to philosophize. Little things comfort us because little things distress us. Clarity of mind means clarity of passion, too. This is why a great and clear mind loves ardently and sees distinctly what it loves. The greater intellect one has, the more originality one finds in men. Ordinary persons find no difference between men. Man is equally incapable of seeing the nothingness from which he emerges, and the infinity in which he is engulfed. Few men speak humbly of humility, chastely of chastity, skeptically of skepticism. Love knows no limit to its endurance, no end to its trust, no fading of its hope. It can outlast anything. Love still stands when all else has fallen. People are generally better persuaded by the reasons which they have themselves discovered than by those which have come into the mind of others. There are only 2 kinds of men, the righteous who think they are sinners and the sinners who think they are righteous. Men are so necessarily mad that not to be mad would amount to another form of madness. In difficult times, carry something beautiful in your heart. The more I see of mankind, the more I prefer my dog. Justice without force is powerless. Force without justice is tyrannical. Distraction is the only thing that consoles us for miseries, and yet it is itself the greatest of our miseries. The eternal silence of these infinite spaces terrifies me. Contradiction is not a sign of falsity, nor the lack of contradiction a sign of truth. Nature is an infinite sphere whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit quiet in a room alone. And is it not obvious that, just as it is a crime to disturb the peace when truth reigns, it is also a crime to remain at peace when the truth is being destroyed? Lust is the source of all our actions and humanity. Nature has made all her truths independent of one another. Our art makes one dependent on the other. The last function of reason is to recognize that there are an infinity of things which surpass it. Men seek rest in a struggle against difficulties, and when they have conquered these, rest becomes insufferable. Symmetry is what we see at a glance, based on the fact that there is no reason for any difference. Reason's last step is the recognition that there are an infinite number of things which are beyond it. Knowing God without knowing our wretchedness leads to pride. Knowing our wretchedness without knowing God leads to despair. Knowing Jesus Christ is the middle course, because in him we find both God and our wretchedness. The heart has reasons that reason cannot know. There is enough light for those who only desire to see, and enough obscurity for those who have a contrary disposition. By space the universe encompasses me and swallows me up like an atom. By thought I comprehend the world. Even those who write against fame wish for the fame of having written well, and those who read their works desire the fame of having read them. If God exists, not seeking God must be the gravest error imaginable. If one decides to sincerely seek for God and doesn't find God, the lost effort is negligible in comparison to what is at risk in not seeking God in the first place. Since we cannot know all there is to be known about anything, we ought to know a little about everything. Those honor nature well who teach that she can speak on everything. We must keep our thoughts secret and judge everything by it, while talking like the people. Our nature lies in movement, complete calm as death. Man's sensitivity to little things and insensitivity to the greatest things are marks of a strange disorder. The power of a man's virtue should not be measured by his special efforts, but by his ordinary doing. Kind words do not cost much, yet they accomplish much. Man's grandeur is that he knows himself to be miserable. The weather and my mood have little connection. I have my foggy and my fine days within me. My prosperity or misfortune has little to do with the matter. There is a certain standard of grace and beauty which consists in a certain relation between our nature and the thing which pleases us. In faith there is enough light for those who want to believe and enough shadows to blind those who don't. When we read too fast or too slowly, we understand nothing. Nothing is so intolerable to man as being fully at rest, without a passion, without business, without entertainment, without care. I would have written a shorter letter, but I did not have the time. Words differently arranged have different meanings, and meanings differently arranged have different effects. The last act is bloody, however fine the rest of the play. A trifle consoles us, for a trifle distresses us. All human evil comes from a single cause, man's inability to sit still in a room.